Hey guys, hope you're enjoying your Monday. Hey, this whole thing about the Ukraine war, I've said this, I don't even know, 100 times, probably more. But the Western media is lying to you. When I say media, it's not even like Fox News or CNN, it's none of those guys. It's specifically YouTube. So many of the guys on YouTube are just feeding you a bunch of line of shit. And let's go right down the line. The Enforcer, Silicone Curtain, Ukraine Matters, Fake News Dennis. I don't even know what the hell his channel is. Just call him Pilot Boy or something. But all these guys, Anna Ukraine, they're all terrible. Even a little bit better, but still pretty shitty. Speaking the truth. I don't know. So for them, okay, so here's how this works. Those guys, to keep their views and subscription, plus, if they can entice you to be a monthly subscriber, that's how they get paycheck, money, moolah. And so, in doing so, well, they lie to you. Even that, or they're just fucking idiots. It's hard to tell sometimes. But it's lying. I can't stand I wish I had their success, okay, in some ways, on my own YouTube channel. It's not great production value, so whatever. But at least I'm not full of shit, right? War is defined by winning territory. There's never been a war defined any other way, okay? And, I mean, it just literally doesn't matter, right? Like, whether the European Union says they're going to spend $1 billion or $200 billion on defense, or most of that would never go to Ukraine anyway, and all that shit hasn't even come to fruition. They're just words on a piece of paper. Nothing has happened. Okay? It's no different in America for Donald Trump either. I'm going to get real tough on Russia, but does nothing. Okay? Like more sanctions, not going to do anything. I'm getting ready to flip my cell phone camera and just show you this map, okay? And this is a real idea, because all these guys will tell you, oh, it's a stalemate war, or it's mostly stagnant, or there hasn't been hardly any advances since the fall. A lot of times they'll tell you since the fall of Advika. Well, I'm going to basically disprove that to you right now. But these guys all lie. And whether the viewers from Ukraine itself, and it's some poor sap lady thinking that they're getting great perspective, or some American idiot, I don't know. Like, I understand if you want to be pro Ukraine. Like, I'm pro Ukraine, but I don't live in a fucking bubble, right? These guys are living in, like, never ever land, right? Like, it's hard to explain it, right? Like, imagine, this is hypothetical because it hasn't happened yet. And by the way, you could just as easily imagine it the other way around. But imagine back in homeland China, sometime in the future, the war in Taiwan has started, and back home in China, every news reporter and TV reporter and every YouTube personality or any social media influencer that the government allows is sitting there saying, China has successfully invaded the shores of Taiwan, and they are vigorously fighting through the northern mountains of Taiwan or some crap like that, right? But the reality is they haven't actually had any gains. Matter of fact, half or all their navy is sitting in the bottom of the ocean in the Pacific. Like, that's the real reality. America has taken hostile actions against the invading army of China, hostile as in a good thing. They're trying to defend Taiwan, and America's actually successfully sunk almost every naval vessel China has. Therefore, there is no invasion. Matter of fact, most of China's troops are sitting on the beaches of mainland China. But the story is being spent in communist China that there's this great invasion underway. Everything is successful. They're fighting through the mountains, the mountainous terrain of Taiwan, and Taipei is going to fall in 5 hours. You see what I'm saying? Now, you could just as easily flip this. America loses all of its navy and wasn't able to defend Taiwan, whatever. That doesn't seem very logical. It doesn't seem likely, it doesn't seem logical. Probably wouldn't happen. America either fights or they don't fight. That seems to be precisely what would happen. And we don't know which one it would be. But what I'm saying is that would be the reality, but communist China is spinning the story. So what's going on here in Western Europe and America? Ukraine. Why is all these guys hell-bent on blowing smoke up your ass? I mean, these guys put out 2, 3, 4 videos talking about the same shit on a daily basis. Think about that. It's absurd. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. It's out of mind, out of sight. It's crazy. So, I don't want to say anymore, really. You get the point. I'm just talking about being real. Reality. Everything you see and everything they talk about on their channels every night, the Enforcer especially is bad. All these guys, they'll show you videos of Russian soldiers being killed or an army tank blowing up or some random shit like that. And it never generally matters. And it never really, most of the time, is in the area where Russia's actually fighting and contesting, which isn't Sumy, which isn't Kursk. It's not northern Ukraine at all, or northeastern Ukraine. It's eastern Ukraine and southeastern Ukraine, but not the far, far south, just sort of south central, those areas. And I want to show you this right now. I'm going to flip my screen. So here we go. It's on a computer screen, so bear with me. The cell phone did its upgrade the last time for all the AI crap, and my Samsung is like, for the first time ever, it literally changed my settings. I have no idea how to run my phone anymore, is what I'm trying to tell you. But check this out. Hello. So I'll use my cursor. You can see it right here, right? I'll zoom out. And I'll zoom in. No, I'll zoom back out right here. Right here, this is all the development that's taking place right now. This encirclement. All these towns you see here are going to fall. And then to the south of these positions, these towns are all going to fall. You can see they're already being encircled, right? Russia's going to take this Avdiivka, or how you pronounce it, and it's going to eventually semicircle, if not completely encircle this. You can already see it. It actually can't be stopped because Ukraine, once again, doesn't have the manpower. This can't actually be stopped. And from basically this tip to, let's say this tip, or maybe even up here. Well, I asked ChatGPT about this. North to south, it's roughly 12 to 20 miles wide on the breakout wedge width. And if you go from Avdiivka down to Ivanica, or how you pronounce it, it's about 35 miles wide. So we go back over to the map. Avdiivka, get you in close here, is right here. Okay, then you come this way, and you come over, And oops, hang on here. And you come over here. This is hard to do without doing this on your phone. You go here, and here's this Advika. So it's like 35 miles long. Now, what these guys always try to tell you is, oh, since the fall of Advika, which was last winter, or whatever it had been, time flies, it's hard to even keep track of this stuff anymore. Here to Provosk, oh, that's only maybe, I don't know, what do they say, maybe tell you 40 miles or something. Oh, they haven't conquered anything, right? But you gotta understand, this isn't a war of straight lines. When Russia broke out here, they went this way, they went this way, they went this way. They went like 3-4 different directions. The proper way of measuring this, if you really want to kind of get at least an estimate, is square miles. All this land around Advika before the fall, none of this existed. Most of this didn't exist under Russia's control. I mean, little parts here and there did, but most of this didn't exist. This is all freshly conquered land. All this. This was all conquered land. All the way out to the new places that are about to be conquered. So let me just show you of why all these guys are just telling you a bunch of shit. Okay? And you could use a measuring tool, whatever. Just ask ChatGPT. Right here, a modern estimate, according to ChatGPT, okay? And I'll just let you read it right there. If you come up here, a conservative estimate, okay, right there, 250 square miles. That's a conservative. I think that's probably accurate. This is probably more accurate than the other. But the thing is, everything I just showed you is about to be conquered by Russia, probably before fall, or let's say middle of fall. All that land will probably be under Russian control, for sure by winter, right? Because then they'll be doing a winter offensive. But on the modern estimates, and you can just, once again, for the logical reasoning that I pay for on this, okay, on the modern, 420 square miles, and it explains this. Okay, see that? Let's go down to the expanded breakout and development threat zone, which is, I'm the badass version. 35 to 40 miles long at Vika to Ivanivka, or how you pronounce it. 15 to 18 miles wide due north, south pressure, and maneuver lanes. And if you do the math on that, that's 720 square miles. So my point on all this is the conservative number probably is the most accurate number. But here's the thing. All those towns I showed, which are I've manually inputted into ChatGPT, they're all gonna fall. So this moderate number of 400 miles is probably roughly the accurate. 400 to 450 number is actually probably the real truth. Now we're going to flip back out to the map. Okay. But here in a second. But obviously it's going to hurt Ukraine when this falls. And it's going to happen soon, right? But if you go up here, one reason by Provokas is well, maybe the only reason why it's real important is, let's see, I'll put you in right here. It's the strategic logistic hub and center of Ukraine's only coking coal production. That's a special type of coal. We have them in America, but you use it for a lot of stuff. In America, by the way, we have a lot of coal. We don't have a lot of coking coal. It's actually something that we don't have like many sites, I should say, but we have a lot. Okay, so there you have it. Like that. Okay, because I don't care how much in love you are of your favorite scam artist YouTube guy. That's the real news, right there. That's the real news, and everything they talk about doesn't actually have it doesn't actually interfere with where Russia's actually doing 90, let's just call it safe number, say 95% of their fighting. Those guys will spend every day or every other day talking about Ukrainian victories somewhere else on the battlefield. Oh, they counterattacked this position, or they drove Russia out of this or that, and blah blah blah, right? They'll spend all their time talking about that. But that's in the 5% of places that Russia's not even really attempting to do anything in. I flip it back. This is where the 95% here is. This is from here, from here at Navika to where this nodule place is here. This is where all 95% of all the effort is. It's not up here in what's it called? Well, whatever. It's not up in Sumy or any of those places. It's in none of those places. It's right here. This is where the 95% of all the fighting is. And so when they talk to you, they're just lying. Before I go back to my face, I wanted to show you one more thing here. Look at all this. All these nodules under Russian control, or at least being highly contested by Russia. They're under Russian control, right? You come all the way down here. This is a gigantic territory that's all going to fall to Russia, like real soon. And look at all these places. This is the only place people talk about right now, right here. Pokrovsk. But all these places where you see my cursor, they're all going to be encircled soon. All these areas are being enveloped. They already exist. They're already semi encircled. You can't stop it, right? This town of Vika is getting ready to fall, right? Russia's going to come around here like this, and all this is going to be encircled. Russia's already above whatever this place is called, right? They're right here. They're already above it. They'll drive out like this, some little nodule of advancement, like this. This is all going to fall. Like, I'm trying to give you real news because you're not getting that from the YouTube. I don't know what the hell you want to call it. The YouTube fanboy club or something. I don't like Russia. I don't like Putin. I'm just giving you real news. Look at all these areas. When you look at this map, this is above. This is where we were. So this is north, right? This is coming above further. I don't know what the hell is the blue here. Claimed limited of Ukraine advance. So don't know exactly what that means. That's probably like as far as their counteroffensive ever went. But I want to show you this. Because once again, these guys live in a fucking fantasy. Look at this. These aren't merely just straight lines, right? Straight lines. This city is about to be encircled too. Russia's not putting a lot of energy here because I just showed you where they're at. But all they gotta do is collapse down. This town's gone. And they'll come up from both directions. They've been doing this the entire war, right? If you look at this nodule right here, they could break both ways, this north and south. And once again, all this land gone. This way, gone. And yet, Ukraine somehow winning the war to all the Ukrainian fanboys? You gotta be kidding me. Look up here. As we go higher up the map, there's some kind of waterway river system here. So yeah, it's probably what slowed them down. But look at this. I can't remember. For some reason I thought Lyman was already conquered, but I could be wrong. But all this is going to be conquered, right? They're already basically semi-circled or very close. You know, look at the wedge right here. I don't know. There might be a little farm town here somewhere. This is all going to be conquered. They're already in a wedge. If you're in a wedge, you're going to lose, especially when you can't raise manpower. Look at this. Another wedge here. Another wedge here. Another wedge. Semicircle wedge right here. And this is everywhere, except basically in the north. So, anyway, we'll just click that out. No reason to keep looking at it. But that's the reality. And I don't understand why the fanboy club can't just level with you. Ukraine can't win the war unless America really changes its stance. And it doesn't seem like Trump's getting serious, so I don't see anything changing. And Biden never did enough. Simply put, he just didn't give the right weaponry. I mean, you look at that map right now. This is about not of drones. People always say drone. They got like drone-itis. This isn't a battle of drones. This is a war mostly still of artillery and infantrymen with armor trucks moving troops across the battlefield. That's been that way forever. It has. Drones can't win the war for Ukraine. They can't strike Russia's production facilities in a meaningful impact. You realize most of Russia's production lines go over 2,000 miles away? And you think a little drone with a 50-pound warhead is going to poke a hole through the wall and stop production? Russia sends their bricklayers out in one day and they rebuild the hole in the wall. They ain't stopping anything. And that's kind of the crux of the problem. Russia can do that to Ukraine, and Ukraine can't even come close to doing that to Russia. That's the whole crux of the problem. Just like when you hear them say the Black Sea Fleet's dead. No, it's been damaged a lot, but it's not dead. It's just relocated. When they do those missile attacks, where do you think a lot of those cruise missiles are fired from? Oh yeah, the Black Sea Fleet. I mean, you can't make this shit up, guys. You look at that map that I just showed you. For Ukraine to win at this point, they need Air Force. And they need a lot of fucking Air Force. Like, F-16s are a good start. And they could probably win the war with F-16s, but you can't do it with 20 F-16s. They need to basically have Europe and America give them, like, I don't know, let's put a number of 150, 200 F-16s. Like, that would be a modern Air Force, a real powerhouse Air Force in the real modern world of 2025. That would be a real Air Force. But they need to have fucking ammunition for it. And those bombs need to directly fall on top of troops. As much as I hate to say it, that's a terrible thing. We are dropping bombs directly on top of forces. It's a terrible thing. But that's what needs to happen. You have to significantly reduce Russia's manpower. The Air Force, I think, is about the only thing that can save them. There's no Patriot missile that's saving them. It's not because the Patriot's terrible. They're just never going to get enough Patriot. missiles. They're not even going to get enough Patriot batteries. So it doesn't matter. Everything you hear is fake. And I say this all the time, going back to my main video a long time ago. I might have even deleted it. Now, I don't know. I deleted a lot of videos a while back. But I specifically said, after the fall of Bakhmut, the following spring, the United States, when that Jack Teixeira guy leaked all those intel documents, the United States, inside those intel assessments, said what? Ukraine no longer can win the war. It says we no longer believe Ukraine has enough manpower to win a war or sustain a counteroffensive. Literally in the document. We came out in 2023, and what happened? Ukraine fought all summer and they maybe gained 100 miles. Go back to what that intelligence assessment, they don't have enough manpower. Why did that intelligence assessment coming into 2023 say that? If you remember, they forced their defense at Bakhmut and they lost a ton of troops at Bakhmut. A ton of troops. All your fake YouTube guys will tell you, it's some random ass fake number. But the assessment off that from America was in the thousands. Thousands. I saw a U.S. assessment that was later backed up by the UK, which I think was later even whispered by maybe some other guy. I can't remember him. He's going way far back now, right? But they all had numbers of I think as high as 15,000. 15,000. Back when they were doing really good in Bakhmut, Russia was losing their ass there. I mean, in the early days, they hadn't even lost 1,000 guys. So, by forcing the stay, mostly Zelensky's fault, all Zelensky's fault, because back at the time, before they fired their first general, he was going to eventually listen to America and withdraw. And Zelensky comes out to you, we're going to fight every man, every last man, we're going to break Russia right here. Here we are, 3 years later, and Russia has taken a major city every winter since the fall of Bakhmut. So, in all 3 years of the war, they've had a winter offensive and they've taken a city every year since their counteroffensive to Ukraine's counteroffensive. Bakhmut, Advika, you name it. But yet, people want to keep living in a fantasy world. I just showed you a real map of the current situation. But you'll go on, I know you will, you'll go on to your fake news YouTube personality and you'll listen to him tell you a bunch of bullshit. And that's the problem I'm having. Get some clarity. I don't like Russia, you don't like Russia. But if you don't live in reality, you can't actually ever infect real change in the war that you guys, not me, I'm in America, I'm doing fine. Not rich, but I'm doing fine. It's you guys trying to survive. You can't fight a war in reality if you're living in a delusion all the time. That makes sense? If you're delusional on reality, then you cannot infect change in that war. Period. Alright, guys. I'm done talking. Enjoy your Monday. Knock yourself out, man. Relax. God bless. Bye.